All right. Well, thank you everyone for showing up to Premiere 2021. My name is Nathan Heatherly. I'm one of the admissions counselors here at Baylor University. Today, we're going to be having Dr. Binetti talk about anthropology and what that looks like at Baylor. Thank you guys so much for showing up. Hope you guys enjoy it. And Dr. Binetti, I'll let you go ahead.
Thank you, Nathan, and thank you everyone for coming to our premier anthropology event for this fall 2021. I'm going to tell you a little bit about the anthropology department. There are far more slides here than I can spend a lot of time on, so the information is here for you to come back and look at later on. So that's really what the things that I skip over are there for you to come back and look at later. So I'm going to hopefully keep this brief enough that we can have some time for some questions at the end. So let's go ahead and get started so I can tell you all about anthropology at Baylor. Really what I want to focus on today are some of the degree options, career paths, and a little bit of what it looks like to be an anthropology major at Baylor. So some of what our classes are like and some of the activities that our students get to participate in. I'll also tell you a little bit about our world-class faculty, which is probably the best thing about the department is that engagement between our faculty and students. So speaking of faculty and students, we currently have 11 full-time regular faculty at Baylor. That means they're sort of permanent fixtures in the department. Of those faculty members, 2 of us are lecturers. We have 2 assistant professors, 2 associate professors, and 5 full professors in the department. We also have 3 temporary full-time faculty right now, which is a pretty standard position that we find ourselves in each year. So we typically have a couple of additional faculty who are not permanent faculty yet, although we hope to make them permanent faculty at some point, who are also engaged with teaching and research with our students. Speaking of students, we have approximately 100 anthropology majors currently. That number is a little bit low for where we're usually at. We're usually more in the 120 range. But with this last COVID year, we had a lot of students actually graduate even with COVID on time. And then because of last year, where not a lot of students started the academic year, just uncertain about what was going on with COVID, we're a little low on our answer numbers there, but we fully expect to get back up to where we normally are soon. We also have about 20 anthropology minors. And the minor degrees at Baylor are all about the same. They're typically about 18 credit hours. And the way that the new core curriculum in the College of Arts and Sciences has been constructed, it really does allow students to do at least one minor, or sometimes in some cases, a couple of different minors. So if you're here interested in the anthropology minor, that's definitely a viable pathway as well. We also administer the forensic science minor, which some of you have perhaps gone to or plan to go to the forensic science session in a little bit. The forensic science minor is also an 18-hour minor, and it's administered through the anthropology department. And it is really one of the only kind of shared departments with the forensic science degree. So you can actually, if you're an anthro major and a forensic science minor, you can share one class toward both degrees. And we're the only department that shares that relationship with the forensic science minor. We also have recently added a PhD program to the anthropology department. So I'm going to skip over some of these degree things, but just know that there are both BA and BS options in anthropology degrees, and that we have a few concentrations in each of those generalized degree plans. These 2 slides, or this slide goes over the 2 minor degrees. So I'll leave that out there for y'all as well to look at as the courses that are available and part of the minor degrees. I do want to spend a little bit of time about talk about students who are natural sort of fits for anthropology. I think anthropology is sometimes a little bit of an enigma because it's not a subject that you hear a lot about in high school. But anthropology is really for students who are interested in the study of humans across space, time, geography, all of the things. And so students who are interested in international cultural research are really natural fits with anthropology. But there are some kind of professional degrees that are also good fits with anthropology. In particular, if you're interested in going to medical school or law school, having a background in anthropology is something that those professional schools are really kind of keening in on right now. Because anytime you have a better understanding of humans, it benefits you in any of those disciplines that I've just mentioned. So if you're interested in health, wellness, culture, law, anthropology makes a really good degree program for any of those areas. I also have a few slides here that just show the various graduate programs and job placements that some of our graduates have taken over the years. I'll leave this just for you to peruse later on, or perhaps for your parents to peruse if they're interested in where you can go for your next steps in anthropology. So these are the different sort of sub-disciplines and where our students have attended graduate programs, as well as where they have eventually been placed in jobs in all different areas around the world, around the country. Another thing that's really important to us is the fact that we get to know our students really well. Because we only have 100-ish anthropology majors, we have a really strong relationship with our students. Unlike some other departments that are much larger, in the 1,000-student range, we can have personal relationships with our students. And so we're able to follow them post their time at Baylor. This is Jeff Traylor. He was one of our BS general anthropology majors, and that's because at the time that Jeff came through our program, we did not have the health concentration. So he went with the general path, but Jeff was always bound for medical school, and he ended up being part of the inaugural class at the UT Dell Medical School. He has since gone on to complete medical school and his residency, and he's a practicing physician now. And this is just Jeff talking about his time at Baylor. Additionally, we've had students complete rigorous graduate or law programs. So this is Brooke Sarton. She actually started with an interest in medicine and actually later on decided that she was interested in law. And the benefit of anthropology is that whether you do the BS degree or the BA degree, you're getting that foundation in anthropology and understanding humans. And so you're really well placed to do almost anything after your undergraduate time. We also have a lot of students who go on to do professional archaeological work. So this is a former student of ours, Brooke. She has since gone on and gotten a master's degree in archaeology, and she works for the state of Texas doing recovery archaeology. Anytime there's a construction project, archaeologists need to go in and make sure that we're not disturbing native burials or any kind of artifacts that are of historical and archaeological significance. And so there's lots of opportunity there for jobs as well as going on into academics. So another thing that our students often do is they go on to either master's or PhD programs in order to become professors of anthropology. And so this is Greg Ortiz. He recently finished his PhD, and he's now working on a postdoctoral project. And after that, will be very well positioned to get an academic position, probably almost anywhere he wants one. His project was pretty high profile, and he's doing some really groundbreaking work looking at immigration and how it is that human populations are moving around the US. So lots of anthropology input there. I would like to talk a little bit about what your time at Baylor would look like. So we have small classes because we are a small department in terms of student makeup. And our faculty really do get to know our students. So what you're seeing up here is sort of a typical makeup of one of our classes, where we have the faculty member there leading a discussion with really a fairly small number of students, and they get to all kind of participate in that discussion. We also offer a lot of really hands-on courses in the anthropology department that maybe some other departments wouldn't be offering. So this is an example of our human osteology class where we are learning about the human skeleton with actual skeletal materials there right in the classroom. And students are, again, in sort of small numbers and able to really engage with the material. This is another of our courses. That's me teaching there. I used to be blonder. It happens. Anyway, this is the forensic anthropology course where you're seeing a real human skeleton laid out on the table and students doing a complete analysis of that skeleton. And we really have a pretty amazing collection of skeletal materials for faculty and students to work with together. This is another example of one of our cool hands-on classes. This is our evolutionary anatomy class and lab course. And what's underneath that white sheet there is a real human cadaver that we teach our anatomy classes with. Other cool classes that are affiliated with the department, but not necessarily with the anthropology degree, are some of our forensic science courses. So this is Jim Huggins, who will be doing the forensic science session later on. And this is an example of some of the things they do in his blood stain pattern analysis class. We also have really great facilities in the department, far superior than almost any other university I've seen in an anthropology department of not just our size, but really any anthropology department. So our cadaver lab has surgical grade lighting for examination of the materials. You can see our bone lab here in the anthropology department. That's what I call our cabinet of heads, as well as some of our outdoor facilities, which is doing our labs sort of outside where students can engage with academic materials, but in sort of a nice outdoor setting. So, we also have world-class faculty, some of whom have recently joined the department and work all over the globe. So our two newest faculty members are Mark Flynn and Sam Erlacher. Mark works on the island of Dominica, where he's been working with multiple generations of an indigenous group there for 30 or so years. Dr. Erlacher has 3 different field sites where he works with hunter-gatherer populations in Papua New Guinea. He works with some agricultural populations in Ecuador and Mexico. And he's looking at how it is that different populations around the world grow and develop and what their health parameters are like. We also have some opportunities for students to get out there in the world. In particular, we offer some field school opportunities where students get actual course credit. This is our San Giuliano, Italy, Italian field school that we've been running for the past 6 or so years. We are very hopeful that this will be up and running again this next summer. In fact, we're anticipating that it will be. So that's an opportunity for students to go sort of take the Baylor bubble with them as they go abroad and do some anthropology field work. We also offer some field opportunities here in Texas. If you are interested in archaeology and you don't want to leave the great state of Texas, we have opportunities right here as well. So these are Drs. Keene and Co. We're running our archaeological field school this summer in Texas. We do offer some online coursework, particularly in the summer, but as we have all learned during COVID times, there's much more opportunity to do things online, and so we're developing those opportunities as well. Faculty do research on campus, so there are opportunities for students to engage in that kind of research as well. This is my co-research project in Kenya. That's actually my husband, Dr. Joe Ferraro, who is also a faculty member in the department. And we do early archaeology, paleontology of human origins in East Africa. We have an archaeological researcher, faculty member who works on the Mayan civilization in Belize, and she has opportunities for students working there as well. Recently, Dr. Sarah Alexander has been working in the Republic of Georgia on some cultural projects with some students there. We are part of the new Science Research Fellows program, so if that's a program you're interested in, you can do that program and engage with anthropology faculty. The last couple of things I want to talk about are sort of anthropology specific. In particular, Lambda Alpha is the Anthropology Honor Society, and we have a number of students who qualify for that every year, and it does provide small scholarships and honors at graduation. Last, but certainly not least, probably the favorite activity of our students and faculty of the year is we typically try to host a goat roast each year, where we make and use stone tools to butcher up some goat, and then we roast that goat over open flames and have sort of potluck side dishes to go along with it. We do other activities like spear throwing and croquet playing. That's not really an ancient human activity, but we like to throw it in there anyway because it's fun. So that's just some of what we do in the anthropology department. If you are interested in coming to Baylor and becoming an anthropology major, we also have a living and learning center that we're affiliated with at North Russell Hall, which is really a diverse and great environment and community to be part of. So you'll want to have a look at that opportunity as well. I don't know if there's any time for questions, probably not, since we had a little bit of snafu with our technology there. But certainly you can find me on the anthropology department website. I'll put that last slide back up there. So if anybody does have any direct questions, please feel free to get in touch with me.
Yeah, thanks everybody. We do have maybe about 3 minutes or so. If you want to put a question in the
Perfect.
Q&A, you are totally welcome. But thank you so much, Dr. Binetti. That was really great.
Sure.
I love that idea of a goat roast. That would be delicious.
Yes, it is. It's
Awesome.
very delicious. Well, it depends on who does the seasoning and the roasting for the year, but when I'm involved, we make sure it tastes delicious.